Welcome back to the Squire's Workshop. In this video we're going to continue prepping our boards. The next step is to cut them to width. The board that I'm showing here is the top board. It gets cut to 9.5 inches. The shelves and the sides get cut to 7 inches, and the skirt boards will be cut to 4 inches. Once we get them all cut to width, the next thing is to square up one end. Had a little bit of a mishap here. The piece that I cut off was thin, got between the blade and the slot in the sled, and then got thrown into the slot in the sled and embedded there. Didn't want to come out real easy, but just something to be aware of. The next part, once we get them squared up, is to cut them to length. I have my measurements laying there in front of me on the table so that I don't have to keep guessing. Just something easy to refer to. The sled that I'm using, by the way, is based on a design by William Ng in his video 5 Cuts to a Perfect Crosscut Sled, and I will link that video in the description. So here we are cutting to final length. The boards that you see there are the side boards. Have them clamped together so that I get them both to the same length. Very important. I do the same thing with the shelf boards. And then once we get them cut to length, the next part is to do some shaping for the skirt boards. And we'll do that on the bandsaw coming up. There we go. And this is running at 4 speed, so it doesn't really cut this fast. The bandsaw I'm using is an old 1940s, late 1940s Power King. Bought it at an auction. Had to completely rebuild it because they had been using it at a metal shop, and it was a mess. But once I got it all cleaned up, it cuts like a champ. And then I built a little custom dust collector system down there for it to keep it from throwing stuff all over my shop. Once we get done with the bandsaw, we go to the spindle sander and do sanding down to the lines and get the cut marks out. And that again was at 4 speed. Now we're going to go to the router. I'm using a 1/2 inch round over bit. My router is embedded in my table saw there. I'm not using the full length of the router bit. I have it set down a little bit low so I don't get the full profile. But I'll do any additional profiling and sanding, or when I sand rather. And then once we get done with the routing, we go to glue up. Yay! Big thing here is make sure it's square. If it's not square, it's not going to work later. And this is the bottom that I'm working on. So yeah, square and level. And I'm kind of crazed about it. I check it, and then I check it, and then I check it again. So anyway, thank you.